Hey guys, it's Dami and welcome back, strollers. Yay! Alright y'all, so I'm back for another video. I finished finals for last term. We just started a new term this Monday, and so I'm back posting videos weekly, so stay tuned for a lot of exciting content coming up. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to address basically how I applied to all three of my nursing schools, why I applied, the process, and everything basically. And I did decide on which school I'm going to, so that will be in an upcoming video, not this one, but stay tuned. I will be revealing where I'm going in an upcoming video. So the first thing I want to talk about is why I applied to each school. So I applied to Vanderbilt, Duke, and GW, right? And so my original intention in applying to nursing schools was I was gonna go do an accelerated BSN/MSN program in which you would get your BSN in 15 months and then you would move on to the MSN portion of the program, and that would be completed in like 2.5 years. And so basically by the end of 2.5 years you would be a nurse practitioner. And so I applied to the Vanderbilt program first. Their application was due like October 15th or something. I applied to that program first with the intention of applying to a bunch of other schools just like that. But then after I submitted the Vanderbilt application, I kind of had more time to think about what I really wanted. And I realized that becoming a nurse practitioner in 2.5 years right after graduation was not exactly what I wanted, because kind of once you graduate those programs, you're expected to be able to be the sole provider, the sole care provider for someone coming in that's not able to see a doctor. And so I just felt with that little experience that I was going to be given in those 2.5 years, I wasn't going to get enough clinical hours and not enough exposure to the nursing profession itself in order to feel comfortable being the sole care provider of a patient who is coming in. And so I decided that I wanted to first be an RN and just get a bachelor's of science in nursing first, work for 1 to 2 years after graduation, and then go back to school to be a nurse practitioner, just so I felt more comfortable doing my job and able to provide the best care possible for someone. And also another reason why I decided not to do those combined degree programs was because I wasn't really sure what specialty I wanted to go to. And those programs that you apply to, you apply with a defined specialty. So I got into Vanderbilt for their family nurse practitioner specialty. And so I wouldn't be able to really change that if I wanted to. Vanderbilt had some way that you could change it, but other schools like Yale or MGH were basically like, once you come in for this specialty, that's what you're doing. And so I just felt kind of confined or restricted into a path that I wasn't so sure that I wanted to do. Even though I had shadowed nurses before, I wasn't so sure, did I want to be a family nurse practitioner? Did I want to be a pediatric nurse practitioner? Did I want to be a certified midwife? Like, I wasn't really sure. So that's why I applied to Vanderbilt, but ultimately decided not to go to Vanderbilt. So now you know that it's between two schools. So I'm just gonna now talk about like in total what I needed to do to apply. So I need to take a bunch of nursing prerequisites, and it's kind of like being pre-med, except there are a lot more nursing prerequisites than there are pre-med classes, honestly. And so I made the switch from pre-med to pre-nursing the fall of my junior year. And so I had to take Anatomy and Physiology 1, Anatomy and Physiology 2, Microbiology, an ethics class that was specifically for GW, nutrition, and biology, basic bio, basic chem, that all fit into my major as biomedical engineering, which is another good reason that I chose that major, is because it lined up so well with what I wanted to do. And Actually, the prereqs that I took were standard for all nursing schools. However, more specific nursing schools will want more specific prereqs. Like, for example, BC, I couldn't apply to their program because they wanted like pathophysiology, and some other schools want like 2 English courses or something that I hadn't taken. And so that really limited the amount of schools that I could apply to. What narrowed it down even further was the fact that I go to a trimester school and we graduate in June, and so I can't start a program that starts in May because I wouldn't have graduated. And so I needed a program that started the fall of the next year. And that again limited my options. Another thing that limited my options is that I wanted to go to a school that offered merit scholarships and financial aid, and a lot of programs, a lot of small town programs don't offer financial aid or any financial help of any sort. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to afford a $60,000, $70,000 program without any support. And these schools are really expensive. They're more expensive than I thought, and getting a second bachelor's actually limits the amount of financial aid you can get to basically all loans. And so it's really important to save money. It's really important to be looking for scholarships early, and I'm just going to apply for a bunch of scholarships now to help me be able to afford my next degree. Another thing that I feel like isn't talked about is the application fees for these schools. When I applied to college, I got fee waivers, and so I didn't really have to pay application fees. But for these 3 schools, the reason why I actually stopped at 3 schools is because I just couldn't afford to pay any more application fees. And so Vanderbilt was $50, GW was $50, and I think Duke was $80, which is crazy, $180 just on applications. And then for Duke, I had to do the CSS profile for financial aid, and so that's another $25. So the money kind of racks up. And for each school, there were different requirements, and so it took me a different amount of time to apply for each one. I think GW actually took me the fastest time to apply for, but that's because it was in the middle of me already applying to Vanderbilt, and so I already had essays that I could kind of base my GW application on, and I'd already knew I was going to apply to Duke, and so I'd already written some of those applications that I could have used for GW also. But Duke had, I think, 4 essays that I had to write, and then 1 extra one if you want to be considered for a merit scholarship. GW had just 2 personal statements, and then Vanderbilt, I think, Vanderbilt had like 3, each talking about why you want to come to the school. And so I did a lot of research on these people's websites, and I started basically the summer after my junior year doing research on what programs that I could want to go to. And a lot of people will opt to take a gap year. I chose not to, just because of the timing of Corona and everything. I just felt that I didn't want to be up in the air with doing a gap year that would allow me to travel and then not being able to travel because of the virus. I just felt like school was more of a sure thing that was going to happen. And so I decided to apply to school and not take a gap year. I will always have time to travel. I will always have time to do more things with my nursing degree and maybe join the Peace Corps or do other things that I really want to do with my nursing degree. And so there's not really a reason to wait. Although gap years are freaking amazing and there's so many. So if you have the opportunity to do one, I think that you should definitely do a gap year. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is getting recommendations for your nursing applications. And this was really hard for me to do because I feel like I've taken so many classes and gone through a lot of professors that I don't really keep in touch with anymore. And so I was kind of searching for recommenders that I thought would be able to speak towards what I want to do as a nurse, because I'm an engineering major and that's kind of stereotypically off the path of what nursing is. Although I did find one school in the United States that offers a dual bachelor's degree, nursing and biomedical engineering, and so I guess I'm kind of revolutionary or something. But anyways, yeah, so keeping in touch with professors now, and so when you're reaching out to ask for recommendations, that you don't feel like kind of out of your place asking them to talk about you when you haven't been in their class for maybe 2 or 3 years. And another thing I would say is, like, I got advice from my cousin to send an application like package or something, a recommendation package, that's what it's called, to my recommenders. And so it went through each of the schools I was applying to, what they should focus on in their letters for each of those schools, and then when the application deadline was, and then I attached my resume to that. So I sent that to each of my recommenders, so they kind of had more help in writing the letters, especially if they hadn't had me in class for a while. They knew what I've been up to and what to focus. I think that's basically all I want to cover in this. Honestly, my nursing journey has been in the works since I've been in high school, and so I know a lot about the profession and a lot about the different paths you can take and how to get to those different paths, but I definitely still have a ton to learn, which I'm really excited to learn once I graduate and go to my next school. But if you have any questions, literally leave it in the comment below, DM me, ask me if you know me and see me on campus, let me know. And I can also talk about in a future video why I decided to do nursing instead of pursuing medical school, because that was the path I was originally on. So yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, strollers. Stay tuned for the video announcing where I'm going to school. I'm really excited to announce it. Anyways, until then, see you later, strollers.